Hey, it's me, Marvin. I just finished watching the episode Unoriginal Sin. I was just in the mood to watch the season 5 of Sex and the City. Now, to be honest, season 5 is kind of a special season. It kind of sticks out because all the girls, well, to an extent, except for Samantha, funny enough, all the girls are just kind of like in between major relationships. At this point in time, Carrie, she had broken up with Aiden just at the end of last season, 2 or 3 episodes towards the end of last season, and so she's single and not seeing anyone. Charlotte, she's going through her divorce with Trey. She's wrapping that up this season. Then you have Miranda. She isn't really in a relationship because she just had the baby. She's dealing with that, and then just dealing with having Steve there as the father, but not her lover. And then you got Samantha, who broke up with Richard the previous season, only to get back with him again earlier. Well, yeah, kind of early on this season. But they won't be together for too long. And this season is really short. It's unique for very many reasons. One, most of the girls are not in there's actually not like one defined relationship for the girls. Most of the girls this season. It's a short season because at that point in time, apparently Sarah Jessica Parker and Cynthia Nixon were both pregnant. And so they're trying to rush through this season as quickly as they can so that way they can hurry up and have the rest of their bodies are changing too. I noticed this season too that the girls can start looking a little bit more like people you see every day versus all glammed up. Cause a lot of times in all the other seasons, they always have them all kind of glammed up all the time. And it's kind of cool to actually kind of see them a little more girl next door-ish looking. Not saying they look homely, but like they look like someone you would see that you actually could see out in your real life. Not someone that's like all like daughter like they'll be in season 6, at some point. Especially Carrie, she really gets glammed up by the time season 6 or the last season wraps up. And so very princessy, and it kind of deals with the more harsher realities of life, because they've dealt with some stuff. They dealt with Carrie dealt with 2 major relationships. One, she tried to come back and resuscitate. Well, both of her relationships, both with Big and with Aiden, they both had 2 runs, and it didn't end very successfully for both those runs, And so it was kind of cool to kind of see her outside of that typical arc that she's been in. Then Charlotte, she spent most of her first few seasons not really with anyone in particular, but just kind of, because actually the first couple seasons, you don't see Charlotte with anyone for a long period of time. She pretty much just has these one-off dates, and that's kind of that, And then Miranda, her and Skipper for a little bit, and then her and Steve on again, off again type deal going on with them. And Steve's still here. We all love Steve. Until the movie, when we find that Steve cheated on Miranda, then you kind of start viewing Steve a little bit differently. But all kind of different, and I kind of like that. This season also has Samantha kind of being in a relationship versus while the other ones aren't, which is definitely totally different. They don't normally have her like that. So I kind of appreciate this season more because it does deal with kind of more like the not so fun sides of just growing up and getting older and seeing life from a different point of view versus how they were at the beginning of the show when they first were all still kind of like fresh faced and and still really young. Now they're getting older and they're getting a little more, now they have more experience with life, and life has kind of battered them up a little bit. It's kind of starting to show, through their actions now, and that's what kind of happens. You only react based off of what you know and how you learn to get through things. And so sometimes the things that you experience, they just leave marks on you, and you carry those marks into other phases of your life because it damaged you that much, and it's just so hard to get over. It's just so hard to deal with it. You just kind of like bottle it up and push it back somewhere, but it affects the choices that you make down the line. And so I like this. I like this season. And no, it's not the most fun season of all. It's probably the least fun season out of all the seasons that Sex and the City have had. But you also got to get to see more of Carrie's professional life too. You get to see her now. She's about to write a book. And which you've always seen her like. I mean, the whole storyline is like each episode is basically like a little article or whatever. But this time you have to kind of see her go beyond that. Now she's putting together a book, and this book is going to impact actually what's going to happen next season too, because that means that something's going to happen which is going to mess with her next relationship that she goes into with Mr. Burger, which people have all kinds of feelings about Burger. And so it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I kind of like to see it because somebody just want to deal with something more real and just talking about how sometimes things happen in your life and they battle your belief systems, and how you just kind of deal with that in a realistic level and come to terms with that. So I think it's kind of cool. That's my take on original sin and just this season and all. It's me, Marvin Lee.